Good afternoon, everyone. So, this time, what I want to talk about is the coordinate system in Godot because it is a bit different from what you would normally expect if you are just going by common sense. You don't need to worry about understanding the most of the code here. Ignore most of the code. Let's just focus on this part here. Basically, I am printing something here. The first line I'm printing, it is gonna reflect the coordinate system for uh, 2D system, because vector 2 is what we use in the 2D system and vector 3 is for 3D systems. So let me just quickly go over this. What I'm doing is I am printing something, and what I am printing is I am printing a vector. If you have studied mathematics, then you know that vector is something that essentially represents a magnitude and a direction. In this case, this vector 2 dot right is basically a vector that represents a vector of unit length in the right direction, as you can tell from the name, which means that vector 2 that left represents a unit vector in the left direction, and you can see it in its description as well, a two element structure that can be used to represent positions in 2D space or any other pair of numeric values, whereas vector 3 is a three element structure that is used to represent position in 3D space. So for vector 2, that is to say for 2D space, first I am printing the right vector, then left vector, then up and then down. Since we have only four directions in 2D, right, left, up and down. But in this case, up is this side. Well, sorry, not up, that came out wrong. In this case, this side is actually positive and this side is actually negative. Whereas for let me just run this and show you. Don't worry about the project itself. So let's minimize this. First was right. Right vector is 1 0. If you go to the origin, you can see, actually since we already run this, I can stop it now, and that's not a problem. Yeah, right vector is this side from the origin, and that is 1 0. So this is positive x direction. Second was left, which means this side, that is negative 1 0. Third was vector 2 dot up. Up is negative, so it is 0 minus 1. And fourth was down. So when you go down, it is 0 1. So that is the coordinate system in 2D. And for 3D, as you can see, we have first vector 3 dot right. Hold on, let me just get to a 3D scene anyways. So vector 3 dot right, x, y and z. X is positive for vector 3 dot right. So right x, as you can see from here, from the gizmo as well, the right side is, this side is right x, this side is right x and it's positive x. Second is vector 3 dot left, this side, and that is negative x, minus 1 0 0. Then vector 3 dot up. In 3D, the up actually becomes positive. As you can see, it is 0 1 0. Whereas vector 3 dot down, the down becomes negative, 0 minus 1 0. It is the z which catches people off guard, because vector 3 dot forward, 0 0 minus 1. This direction is forward, and as you can see from the gizmo, this is 0 0 minus 1, whereas 0 0 1 is the positive direction, which is vector 3 dot back. So those are the basically coordinate systems, and if you ever have any doubt, you can either use the gizmos to help you out or just them print them for yourself to see. In C sharp, the command is gd.print, and in gd script, the command is print. So there's not much of a difference there. Apart from that, let's see, if we were to run this scene, in this scene alone, you would not really see all that much. Well, that particularly didn't pan out very well because I was still in the main scene. I was not paying attention. My bad. Let's see. Let's run this scene. It's asking me to save first. Sure, whatever, no problem. Let's save it somewhere. I'm gonna delete it later, but let's create a new scene. Node 3D. If we run this, as you can see, we cannot see anything. Not even the stuff we can see here. So why is that? It is because this is a bit of a preview environment that Godot gives us to work with. You can see it here actually. If we click here, there is a preview sun and preview environment, which means there is no actual sun in the scene and there is no actual environment, which is to say there is no light, there is no terrain, there is no nothing. So let's add a sun to the scene. Should that be enough? We have a sun, but will that be enough? Obviously no, but let's just see what we get. Again, same thing, nothing. What happens if we try to add environment? Again, it will be the same result, but as you can see, the nodes have been added here and it's still nothing. Well, okay, yeah. So why is that? Because there is a difference in how the viewport renders things in 2D and in 3D. So imagine if you are in 2D and this is your scene, then when you run this, there is not really all that much of a difference in the depth, right? Like, sure, the images can be drawn in a way that makes it seem like there is. And by the way, I did not draw this. This is Tiny Sword asset pack. I believe it is on itch.io or Kenny asset pack, one of the two places. Anyways, so where was I, right? So in 2D scene, there is no concept of depth. There is only x and y. So which means that if this is our window, then this portion where the display is there, that can be our viewport, and the default camera is situated in that viewport, and whatever is covered by that, we can see that. No issues. And if we add our own camera, then then that camera can be made the current camera, and that can be used whatever. But in this case, the issue is that since there is depth, the game engine has no way of knowing if what is at what position we are supposed to fix the camera, from at how much distance from which object and at what angle. Those things we need to tell it, which is why we need to add a camera 3D to it. And as you can see, this is our camera 3D, and this nice little box here is our camera's field of view. As you can see, it should be FOV, right? Here it is, FOV. If we change it, it changes what is visible in the camera. You can actually see that better here as well. Let's go to preview. Yep, whatever. That's a lot of that's pretty bad, but whatever, not important. Let's just run this scene, and now you can see, now that we have a camera, we can see both the sun and the world environment. Now if we delete the world environment, now that we have a camera, if we run this scene, as you can see, again there is nothing. So let's just re-add it. I press Ctrl Z to undo that, and again, as you can expect, once we run this, there should be no problem in seeing whatever is here. Well, that's about it for this topic. It's a pretty small topic, but something that I wanted to cover, so whatever. Yeah, okay, that's